At this time, another vlog. Something I've been witnessing lately, especially on social media, the censorship that's been going on regarding David Icke and so on and so forth, and some of the comments that's been passed around, got me thinking about closed-mindedness and open-mindedness. Because when you've got somebody getting censored and what have you, and the subsequent comments coming in, it's kind of easy to tell just by reading them who's got the open mind and who's got the closed mind. My screen right here has got a closed-minded definition, a definition of closed-minded. Intolerant of the beliefs and opinions of others, stubbornly unreceptive to new ideas. And I guess you could encompass those new ideas as, when people start talking outside of the box type stuff. Not ready to receive new ideas. It says here, alternative form of closed-minded. Closed-minded definition is not willing to consider different ideas or opinions, having or showing a closed mind. So I go, wait, what's happened to David Icke recently? You have a guy who lives in a flat by himself, he's not part of any organisation. He must have hit a few raw nerves recently to get the kind of response that he's got. The so-called controversial interview in question, I've watched it in its entirety twice, fully, and as well as highlight clips here and there as well. And I don't see anything in there that could be categorized as dangerous or harmful content. Because in my view, dangerous or harmful type stuff would be, incitement to violence of some description or other. He specifically mentions in said interview that he does not condone violence of any kind. So, yeah, you've just got some guy blogging away his own perception of things, his own take on things, backing it up with evidence where he can, and other videos, other people talking about the same subject, such as the doctor in New York who was talking about that he was witnessing people dying due to lack of oxygen, but the muscles in their lungs were working. I remember him saying the muscles in their lungs were working fine, so it was not the usual respiratory problem. He was making comments like this doctor in New York was like saying it was like they were slowly getting starved of oxygen. Like throwing somebody off of the top of Mount Everest without giving them any time to acclimatize, is what he said. And that's what what the analogy of the state of their lungs that he had witnessed. And then we come on to, I briefly talked about the definition of closed-mindedness. Then you got open-mindedness. So open-mindedness is receptiveness to new ideas. Open-mindedness relates to the way in which people approach the views and knowledge of others, and it means to be respected as a mindless person and something. Jason Behere defines an open-minded person as one who characteristically moves beyond or temporarily sets aside his own doxastic commitments in order to give a fair and impartial hearing to the intellectual opposition. Fair and impartial hearing. As I don't think that just includes let's wipe somebody out of existence because we don't like what they're saying. We don't like the sound of what they're saying. So, yeah, I can just about read over there. I've got a monitor quite far away. Got the full definition here. Jack Kwong's definition sees open-mindedness as the willingness to take a novel viewpoint seriously. According to Wayne Ricks, open-mindedness springs from an awareness of the inherent fallibility of one's beliefs. Hence, open-minded individuals are more inclined to listen to and seriously consider alternative viewpoints. So, yeah, I want this to lead into my next point I want to make. I just want to see if there's anything more here. Open-mindedness is generally considered an important personal attribute for effective participation in management teams and other groups. Open-mindedness is usually encouraged in group settings within different cultures and new environments. According to David DeSalvo, closed-mindedness or an unwillingness to consider new ideas can result from the brain's natural dislike for ambiguity. According to this view, the brain has a search and destroy relationship with ambiguity, and evidence contradictory to people's current beliefs tends to make them uncomfortable by introducing such ambiguity. And now we're getting on to it now. I thought it might be the case. So closed-mindedness stems from people being frightened of the unknown. Danger, danger. Brain does not compute. Fear of the unknown and all that. So this is why you get a situation where people conclude, you know, oh, that guy's talking a lot. That guy's mad. That guy's talking a load of tosh. Have you checked out their material? Have you read their book, one of their books? And then the reply usually comes back, no, I'm too busy. I ain't got time to read a 500-page book. The real reason is they're scared. Fear of the unknown. No, I'm not going to go there in case, you know, they might have a valid point and then I might get scared. So, so there's an interesting article there on open-mindedness. What I was leading on to was, you know, people might attack David Icke, you know, they've got to scrape the bottom of the barrel because they don't have any other avenues for attack. So the fallback mechanism, like with Sky News recently, for example, is just let's go back and talk about it. Let's hit him with the reptilian stuff again. You know, I've been listening to David Icke doing interviews for quite some time on a regular basis. Actually, it's been a long time since he's even mentioned the reptilians. It's their fallback mechanism, you know. They haven't got an argument, so we'll pluck something from 30 years ago, the reptilian stuff, and we'll hit him with that. Having said that, well, an open-minded person would be open to the idea of the possibility of shape-shifting reptilians. coming into this dimension. Something not a million miles away from what's depicted in John Carpenter's They Live movie. This whole dilemma between closed-mindedness and open-mindedness fascinates me, because I think there's kind of a silent war going on between open-mindedness and closed-mindedness. So it got me thinking about ghosts, things like that. Or it'd be like a person. You take this from two different angles. You have a person who thinks that their five sense reality encompasses all of reality. In other words, you've got those people who are like, if I can't see it, taste it, touch it, smell it, feel it, then it can't exist. You can blow their argument out of the water right away, and just radio waves, gamma rays, X-rays. And then you've got the people with the realization that five sense reality, people's perception of five sense reality, is not the whole caboodle. Your perception of five sense reality is a tiny slither of the whole reality. So if you take that viewpoint, it's extremely easy to realize that we don't know everything, we haven't got the answers to everything, and if our five sense reality is a tiny slither on the wavelength frequency band, then what the heck is the rest of it about? And what exists beyond that five sense frequency band that we pick up on? So maybe it's not, like ghosts. People are like, I don't believe in that. But you've never seen any concrete evidence to shore up. How can you be 100% sure that ghosts don't exist? Other people have researched the subject and come to different conclusions, so you've got a difference of opinion. But those people that have grasped the concept that your five sense reality is a little slither on the spectrum, and there's entire universes of stuff that you don't know, you can't pick up on with your five senses, then those people, the idea of ghosts not a problem whatsoever, because you could have some stuff that can phase in and out of our reality that we pick up with our five senses, and hence the sort of sudden appearance of an apparition or something, and then they could quickly equally disappear and vanish seemingly into thin air, when they could just be morphing back to where they've come from. Remember, the tiny slither five sense reality is picking up just a tiny fragment. Ghost out here somewhere phases in for a while, phases into what we pick up with our five senses, and then phases back out there again, back out to the great all there is, the true reality that we only pick up a tiny fragment of with our five senses. So Personally, I like the idea of open-mindedness. Don't be too quick to judge. Don't be too quick to sort of laugh something off as, oh, so that's ridiculous, that's mad. You know, at least, at least allow yourself the opportunity to study something. Yeah, give yourself a real chance to study something first before drawing conclusions. And that was, I eventually got round to saying what I wanted to say. So I've got 15 minutes on the clock. Um, so that was it really for this video. I wanted to talk about, I wanted to say a few words about open-mindedness and closed-mindedness. See you next time. Stop button.